I'm sorry.
I got families waiting on third graders percolating.
First time forever. I call the November 12th, 2024 Colonial School Board meeting to order. Please rise as Mr. Ted Laws leads us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That was very adorable to hear the third graders with that, I'm not gonna lie. All right. Moving on to, are there any additions or corrections to the board agenda?
I have none.
Make a motion, we approve the board agenda as presented.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All right, as moved by Mr. Laws, seconded by Mr. Handy. Are there any questions or comments from the board? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Motion's carried. All right, now is the time in the board meeting for the celebration of the E in the Power of We. We're gonna begin with our student board representative, Miss Ladune Akinrolio. Please tell me. Good? No, not even close?
No, it was better. Like, it's getting better each
Took me 4 years to be able to say Chris's last name, so.
Yeah, you gotta get that one. To provide us with her report, Ms. Ladune, stage is yours.
Hello. I just have a report on the student activities and groups, the athletics, and the academics. For the more social aspect, homecoming just happened. I would say it was definitely a success. Our theme was Tangled Lantern Festival, and I heard people say our decorations like the best it's ever been. And I really enjoyed it. I think it was gorgeous. We had like lanterns hanging from the ceiling, and like really cool like balloons and stuff. So I think it was a great homecoming. The senior committee's been very active this year, and this past few weeks ago, they had a senior trip to Fright Fest in New Jersey, and I heard it was really exciting and really fun, and that they had a great time. It's no school in November, so like there's barely any school this month, and every student is excited about that. I'm happy about that, because like the next coming week, after next week, there's Thanksgiving break, and it's gonna be a great week of no school. The Key Club is doing their annual toy drive. There's bins in every toy staff center, and they're accepting only new toys that were donated to the Christiana Hospital, which is always a great thing. I'm in Key Club, and we love doing it every year. It's my favorite part of being in Key Club. And Holston is having a food drive, which is, great for the community, and I think they do this annually too. And hopefully they get a lot of turnout, and it'll be great. On the athletic side, fall sports have just ended, so no more football, no more soccer. Now we're on to winter, just like spin, winter cheer, and like indoor track. Oh, and basketball, yeah. Basketball is definitely one of our biggest sports at Penn, so I don't know how I forgot that. I'm excited, the students are excited. Winter sports are always fun, and it's gonna be a great time. Marching band just had their national championships, and we placed 7th. Like a score of 85.9. It's like a pretty high score for us. I'm in marching band, and it was a fun day. It's our first ever time being in U.S. bands, like a new circuit. So it was like exciting to go to Allentown and like perform and be our best, and it was a great time overall. On the academic side, the marking period just ended. It's not like much to say on the academics, but I just think that everyone at Penn is hoping to either do better or just stay good. And that is all I have for my student report.
so to continue our E in the Power of We storytelling, I'm going to turn the mic over to Colonial's Public Information Officer, Ms. Lauren Wilson. Ms. Wilson, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. PQ, and to all the board members here, and everyone here from Colonial Nation, good evening. We're going to begin with a presentation from Wilbur. This fall, the second and third grade music classes at Wilbur Elementary School have been focusing on making a steady beat, learning the beginning percussion skills, and music notation. With the help of their music teacher, Miss Lewis, each class used bucket drumming to accomplish these goals. Their culminating activity was to perform High Hopes on the bucket drums for their classroom teachers. Tonight, you are in for a treat because Mr. Page's third grade class has been chosen to perform for the board. I'll turn it over to them.
Thank you. You folks can come up to your drums. Make sure you keep your voices off. So as Ms. Wilson told us, all the second and third grade students got to try this unit. Mr. Page's class really rocked it, so I thought it would be fun to invite those who wanted to come to play to show you all what we've been working on. And I think at the end, we have a little plan for some friends up here to try as well. You look really excited. All right, I do apologize. My classroom runs pretty loud, and it is also going to be pretty loud here. So if anybody's noise sensitive and needs to step out, I'm not offended. You're right by the speaker. Okay, all right. I just want to put that out there. All right. I'd say the best part about bucket drumming and teaching this, and all those things she said we accomplished, they have no idea they did it. You know, the best part is, what's the best part about playing buckets, guys? Have fun. Have fun. And that's what we're here to do. All right, I'll stop talking. Okay, put your sticks like this. Everybody good? Sitting up tall? Big stick. bucket and just give it to a friend. That sounds good. Look, they're all at the evil eyes. I just.
Now you don't have a choice.
Okay, so we turn our microphones
Go
off.
give your bucket to somebody. Pick somebody behind the table. So you look like a great friend. Anybody.
Right here. This is gonna be the toughest one right here. Whoever thinks they can get this guy right here is gonna be tough. There you go.
That's good, that's good.
All right, come on around.
Okay. Now, some of our third graders, are going to show you some of the things we just did in the bucket. You'll probably have the best chance if you put it between your knees or if you stand up. You can decide how you want. All right, Mike. No, give them the sticks. Yes. Who got the bucket without sticks? See? I think he planned that. All right, Michael is up. Okay.
So,
Oh, hold on. Do you hear them playing when you're talking? Can you believe that?
you're not like kindergarten.
All right, I got you, Michael. Hold on. Test. All right, mic off. All right, I know you wanted a mic, so.
So you put these two fingers where the bumps meet the smooth, and you let the other three fingers rest.
Right. Do you want them to be super tight or loose?
Loose.
Correct. Very good. Very good. All right. Where is number two? Oh, who's filling in for Kendall? It was Maxine. All right, Maxine. You're gonna show them the three places. You can use my bucket. You have sticks. Okay. Oh, Michael has the sticks. You're gonna show them the three places to hit the bucket. Okay. Go for it.
So the three places you can hit the bucket is on the top, the rim, and the side.
Can you show us what that sounds like? The top. Top. Rim. Side. Good. You guys want to try it out for a sec? It looks cool. Okay, great. What do we say when we need our sticks to be quiet? Aliens, right? All right, aliens. We call aliens. You got to put your sticks up here. All right, here we go. We are on number 3. Alicia. Alicia's going to show you the beginning of the High Hope song. All right, Alicia. Do you want to show them what to do?
You get one and hit the rim, and you get the other and hit the rim, and you do the same one again.
So how many rims are we going to do?
3.
And then what comes after that? All right, good. Can you show them 1, 2, 3, click? 1, 2, 3, click. Click. 1, 2, 3, click. You got it. You guys can try that on your own. 1, 2, 3, click on the rim. 1, 2, 3, click. 1, 2, 3, click. Cool. All right. And what do we do for quiet?
Erskine,
Aliens?
watch out, man. I'm coming for you.
Number 4, Jess. Jessica, you ready? All right, Jessica. Now this is the tricky part. This is what we spend a little bit of time, so, don't feel bad if you don't get it right away. All right, Jess, you ready for the main part? Go ahead.
So you want to do the top, and then you have to do the top 3 times, and then you do the rim, and then the top again.
Should we do the top 3 times or the rim 3 times?
The top.
Because you just told us to do the rim 3 times.
She said top. So what do we say when we want to hear the top sound? When we want to hear the top sound, what do we say in our mouth? We go
Boom.
right, and when we want the rim sound, what do we use?
Get.
Yeah, and what do we say for this part?
Boom, 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 get.
Boom, 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 gat. So top, rim. Boom, 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 gat. Can you show them what it looks like? Top, rim. Boom, 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 gat. Go ahead and show them again. Boom, 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 gat.
Ooh.
Yeah. Boom, 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 gat. Boom, 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 gat. Looks great. What do we got to call it? Aliens, right? All right. Number 5. We are on Addison. Pass the sticks, Addison. All right. The next part of the song goes like this.
Air. Flip.
Keep going. Air, flip, air, flip, air. They got this part. Good job. They got that part. I win. Alien. Carson, the best part of the song. You ready to show them? Come on. Yes. That's the best part of the song right there. You show them again, Carson. Side to side. All right. We're gonna go for it.
What?
Just what?
We're done, right?
We're gonna play it.
What's
the
the
first part again?
Why I had to remember all this.
Gardner's like Matt said. All right, look at that.
A verse. We'll do a couple verses. All right.
You guys got a bucket and stick?
All right.
So there's some more here.
First part is the rim.
And then, Ladoon, come on, you're the AP student. Help us out here.
You already said you were in band.
All right.
All right. Well, we'll do like half of it.
All right.
All right. Let's do some music. Calm that music up. Louder.
Yeah,
On the
all right.
rim, on the rim. We're on 1, 2, 3, close. You ready? This is the tough part. Boom, 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 back. Wait. Boom, 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 back. Okay, back on top. We're going aliens. Yeah. We didn't get to the end. Nice job. Nice job. Thank you guys.
Homer buckets.
Thank you for the music lesson. Here's your stick. Thank you, Mrs. Lewis.
Thank you.
Take it over.
It's okay, we're not at 5.
I hope you got plenty of video of Ted Laws doing that.
Just go ahead and take them out of the hallway.
Very cool.
Thank you guys for being good sports. Thank you. Thank
No, thank you. Thanks for the time. Yeah, they feel free if you have to be with your children. Yeah, do you want to do a picture with the
Yeah,
group?
yeah, I'll get this. Get back.
Get to come back in real quick. Yeah. We'll do one quick picture with the board.
I should have introduced you to Mr. Page. I'm so sorry.
That's all right. You want to have this stand?
Unless you want to stay here all day.
Chrissy, they can stand right up in the front of the
All right.
table. We'll stand up behind them.
All right, you guys are gonna just line up from here, from all the way down here, and Mr. Dorsey here, and just make a line from Mr. Dorsey all the way to Mr. Law. You should all fit, right? 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
I would just like you students to know that this has always been on my bucket list.
Wait, where's the drum?
Everybody look at me.
What?
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Good job.
Thank
you.
you.
All right,
Turn
thank
it
you.
All right, I'll meet you in the hallway. I'll meet you in the hallway, guys.
All right. Next, we have another treat we all can share in by supporting William Penn's Integration A Can-Do Company. This micro business is all about empowering a community of talented students with special needs. The Can Do Company specializes in creating unique, handcrafted items that showcase the creativity and skills of those in the program. Each craft not only reflects the personal stories of its makers, but also supports their growth and independence in a welcoming environment. We hope everyone in Colonial Nation will stop by the farm stand across from Amazon to support the Can Do Company's pop-up shop on November 22nd. The time will be 10 a.m. from 12:30 p.m. We also want to recognize our homecoming, and as Ladoon said, it was really outstanding. This year's 2024 William Penn Homecoming and Fall Festival was amazing. We couldn't have done it without our volunteers who made the day special. Your dedication, hard work, and enthusiasm made this Fall Festival truly unforgettable. From setup to cleanup, you went above and beyond, bringing smiles, energy, and passion that touched everyone involved. A special thank you goes out to Merlin Burns, Dr. Jennifer Alexander, and Jessica Hitchens for all the work they did in planning a successful event. We want to thank you for all that you did. Dr. Alexander and Ms. Hitchens couldn't be here tonight, but Merlin is here in representing all. Thank you. Next, we have a positive story that blew up here in Colonial Nation and in the local media. I'm talking about Alexandra Sweeney, a student teacher at Wilbur Elementary School. On Wednesday, October 30th, Alexandra Sweeney, a University of Delaware senior who had 3 weeks under her belt as a student teacher, overheard a homeless student tell his teacher he wanted a ninja costume for Storybook Character Day and Halloween, but his mother couldn't get it. This was at 11 a.m. She wanted to help him and other homeless and needy students at the school, so she reached out to her sorority, Sigma Kappa, and the Pan-Hellenic Association at the University of Delaware, along with her family and friends. She also created a flyer on social media. Within hours, she raised $900 and was able to go to Party City on Halloween Eve to purchase the costumes. The costumes were put on display in the conference room at the school, so teachers could send all of the kids down to pick out whatever they wanted. This is a great example of how Colonial's Power of We mantra is more than just a saying. It's a movement. We are so proud of this aspiring teacher who saw the needs of a student and acted on her own to help. After all, that's what teachers do. Ms. Sweeney, would you come forward?
I'm gonna get one after him too. Aww.
Thank you.
She's the Pan-Hell community. Yes, I'm her little, for sure. Thank you.
Well, thank you to both of you. We also want to recognize our 2025 Teachers of the Year, our Educational Support Professionals of the Year, and our Behavioral Support Professional of the Year. Teachers of the Year, Support Professionals of the Year, and the Behavioral Professional of the Year were formally recognized by the board last month, and our board president has a proclamation that he's going to read in part.
Jeff has been kind enough to tell me I don't have to read the top half. In other years, he's made me read everything, so. It states, "Now therefore be it resolved that I, Christopher P.Q. Sr., by the power vested in me as President of the Colonial School Board of Education in Newcastle, Delaware, do hereby proclaim November 12th, 2024 as Colonial School District Teachers of the Year, Educational Support Professionals of the Year, and Behavioral Health Support Professional of the Year Day. And I call upon all of Colonial School District to recognize and honor the Teachers of the Year and Educational Support Professionals of the Year and Behavioral Health Support Professional of the Year for the contributions they make in the lives of students and staff in Colonial Nation. Witness my hand and seal this 12th day of November in the year of 2024.
So each board member will sign the proclamation, and then we'll make copies on a nice cardstock, and we'll frame them and deliver them to each recipient between now and Christmas, because it takes a while.
And in case you're wondering who those people are, we have from Carrie Downey, Carrie Ziegler, from Castle Hills, Laura McCarter, from Eisenberg, Maddie McNulty, from Newcastle, Katie Barrett, from Pleasantville, Kelsey McGrath, from Southern, Marlo Wolfen, from Wilbur, we have Audrey Lowe, from Wilmington Manor, we have Charlene Jackson, from George Reed, Natalia Tovar, from Gunning Bedford, Lazada Hayden, from McCullough, we have Christina Hubbard, from Leach, we have Brandon Hughes, and from Seat, we have Jessica Kibelhouse. And our Teacher of the Year is from William Penn, and she is also the State Teacher of the Year, Shelby Horse. Moving on to our S winners, from Carrie Downey, we have Danae Johnson, from Castle Hills, Jasmira Oliveira, from Colwick, Aaron Kirby, from Eisenberg, Jonathan Rosiel, from George Reed, Kai Buchanan, from Gunning Bedford, Marissa Jameson, from Leach, Hazel Stevenson, from McCullough, Shayna Wu, from Newcastle, Jay Quinn, she's here tonight, Williams, from Pleasantville, Lucinda Davis Kettner, from Southern, Jade Johnson, from Wilbur, Jerry Meganson, from William Penn, Dina Broadnex and Nicole Gildersleeve, from Wilmington Manor, Lindsay Kilpacky, from Maintenance, we have Mike Montgomery, from Nutrition, Kevin Wheeler, from Technology, Cyrus Saraslani, from Transportation, Lynn Pasquale, from the Teaching and Learning Center, we have Kim Malvina. And our district SB winner of the year is here, our own Gabe Phillips. Finally, our behavioral health professional of the year is Khalil Fitzpatrick, and he is from McCullough. Moving on to community. We are beyond grateful for the incredible generosity shown by Croda. Their thoughtful donation of rally towels for the homecoming game was very much appreciated. The crowd was fired up for the homecoming game, cheering on the Colonials with the towels in hand. This is just one example of the many ways Croda strives to make an impact in Colonial Nation. We want to thank them for their continued support. I also want to let you know about...
Did the person from Croda?
We have someone from Croda here. Oh, okay. Thank you.
Come on up.
Oh, okay.
Open up the bag too, Ron, because you gotta check out what's in there.
We have goodies.
There you go. 1, 2, 3. Good. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And could we have all of our of the year winners come forward so we can get another picture?
Those who are here this evening, up front here, Mr. Peak here now. Gabe, get in there.
Who does Gabe's job like?
Oh yeah, one of the board is in behind. Come on, Ted, get another picture, Ted. Get on the other end there.
I think he looks a little stressed about whether she can take a good
Congratulations to you all. On November 20th, the Colonial School District will take a equity summit to the community. We will host the first Equity Series event of the year at the Route 9 Library. In addition, we will give back to the Colonial Nation by distributing food baskets to identified families. Please come out and join us. We would love to have you on the 20th from 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. And finally, as you've heard time and time again, this year's homecoming was a success, and we couldn't have done it without our vendors. I want to express our gratitude to the 60 or so vendors who participated. Some were small business owners, others, including our very own students, had micro businesses. And we had everything available to the public, from tasty treats to homemade products. All of the vendors will receive a letter of appreciation because each and every one is an important part of the E in WE. We want to thank everyone who did participate. And that concludes our recognitions for tonight.
At this point, we will usually pause the meeting for those who need to leave, but all the students already left. So staff members, if you do have places to go and be, please understand we recognize you're free to, head on out, but you can also stay and enjoy the ECAP presentation and the rousing conversation around class size waivers and, what
Got
is it?
Seep coming too.
Yeah, Seep here, yeah. So, your call, please.
Maureen, please take note of who's leaving.
We're going out to celebrate our new holiday.
Oh, right.
That's what it is.
There you go. Hubbard's always thinking ahead.
Congratulations, guys. Thank you for all of your hard work.
Thank you.
Gabe, do we have any public comment?
Okay.
All right, normally at this time, we would have public comment, but seeing that we don't have any submitted, we're gonna move on past that. We're gonna move on to the next item, which is the consent agenda. The items listed under the consent agenda have gone through board review, including documentation concerning these items. They've been provided to all board members and to the public in advance. Items in the consent agenda generally include routine personnel and business office actions and updates, as well as approval of previous meeting minutes and education-related items such as choice and student placements. Do I hear a motion?
I move that we approve all consent items as presented.
All right, do I hear a second?
Second.
As moved by Mr. Laws, seconded by Mr. Handy. Are there any questions or comments from the board? Oh, sorry, Dr. Dorsey. Apologize, folks.
Whatever.
You did it so well, too. I appreciate it.
I was about to triple.
All right, as moved by Dr. Dorsey, seconded by Mr. Handy. Do I have any questions or comments from the board? With there being none, all those in favor, please signify with saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. All right. Motion carries. Next up on the agenda is updates and action items.
Thank you,
Dr.
Mr.
Laws.
Law. Thank you, Mr. Laws. No, I'm sorry. I'll get that right eventually. All right.
Thank you.
The first item we have up is annually the board gets an update from our early childhood staff. And tonight we have Ms. Sarah Milner here to provide the board with an update on the Early Childhood Assistance Program, affectionately known as ECAP. Ms. Milner, the floor is yours, and if there's a handout or a PowerPoint, we can always.
I'm sorry, it's a PowerPoint.
Okay, and we'll just look up to the left here on the screen, or that side.
Okay. Thank you so much for inviting me. My name is Sarah Milner. I am the new program coordinator at the Colonial Early Education Program, taking over for the amazing Dawn Alexander. I'm here to share with you about the state-funded Early Care and Education Program, which was formerly ECAP, or the Early Childhood Assistance Program. It's SFECEP, a good long acronym. Yes, we can move to, I don't know how I moved to the second slide, perfect. So right now we have many state-funded early care and education programs statewide. I was a former itinerant teacher in Colonial before moving into this position, so I work with a few of the programs, including the Head Start programs. But they have been authorized since 1995. To be a state-funded program, you have to reapply every 3 years. Luckily, this is not a year that we have to reapply because I am just a few months in. And a big part of it, instead of DE stars, we're now doing the quality improvement system, which is just a process of continual improvement. And so we develop a plan, we work on our materials and supports that we need for that plan. We meet with a licensing specialist from the DIEEC, which is the Delaware Institute for Early Childhood. Oh wait, I know. I brought my acronyms list. There's so many. It is the Delaware Institute for Excellence in Early Childhood. Have no fear, I'm on it. But, and so every month I meet with a quality improvement specialist. We're working on our quality improvement award right now. We are licensed by the Office of Child Care Licensing, which I oversee. The Reading Consortium has really helped us to have all of these state funds available to us, which have really helped us. And we can move to the next slide. So within Colonial, we currently have 50 children who are funded through our state funding program. We had 45, and in 2023 we were able to move it up to 50. They all attend Seek for free, and they attend in-house because we do have right now a total of 326 students. 54 of them are itinerant. 50 of them are our state-funded students, and then we have students who are eligible for purchase of care. We have students who attend as tuition paying students, and so we have a mix, and we serve them all in an inclusive setting. Some of the things that we make sure is all of our staff are DEED certified. We have Delaware First certification. We, through licensing, have to be CPR certified and first aid certified. We do home visits. It's a requirement for our state-funded students. We require 2 per year, but all of our students benefit from having a home visit twice a year. We also do dental oral health screenings at SEEK for our students. It is something that we really encourage for our state-funded families, but we also encourage all families to sign up and see if they're eligible. Our amazing nurse does hearing and vision screenings for our students. We do developmental and social emotional screenings. And all children now participate in daily Heggerty phonemic awareness, which sets them up for when they enter kindergarten. We also do all sorts of other programs such as POD, we have picture communication supports, and we have many universal supports that we offer for all of our students. All right, we can move to the next slide. We partner with many, many community partners. That includes our Department of Public Health for our dental supports, 211, Autism Delaware, Christiana Care. We have the Center for Child Development doing counseling sessions within our school. We also refer families to outside services. We work a lot with Head Start, the Delaware Libraries, home visiting. We have high schoolers that come in and support our classrooms for credit. And currently we get over $400,000 in funds per year from state funding, from the state funding programs. The bulk of it goes to salaries and benefits for staff, and then the rest we use for that quality improvement, where we decide where we need to allocate those funds, come up with our plan, and then look at and take data and information on how it is benefiting our students, and continually keep up our improvements. It's allowed all of our families to have access to high quality preschool programming, and we're so grateful for it. Next slide. And so we begin. This is our flyer for this year. We just updated it. It has all of our information about our state funded program, but also our just general programming. And we have it on our website, which we just updated with the help from Gabe. And that is all of my information. Are there any questions?
Sure, I have a question. Is there a criteria or preference for acceptance?
There is. So we use a weighted system to look at families that have the most need. For our state-funded students, they have to be SNAP eligible, TANF eligible, they have to be foster or kinship care, or they have to be in a homeless situation. And so we look at eligibility through our lottery, and we do hold a lottery. Our lottery opened last Monday, just as the regular choice. Our stays open longer. In fact, it's always open because part of being a state-funded program is that you have to always have a waiting list so that you can quickly fill the spots because you're in a timeline to fill those spots because we want to make sure that we are continually serving all of the, filling all those seats, but serving our families in the Colonial community.
Is there a long waiting list?
So we do have quite a wait list. It's something that, we look at with our quality improvement specialist for, the possibility of ever having more state-funded seats. But I'm just a couple months in, so we'll talk about that in the future. But we do have a definite wait list that we look at, and we look at, those students that, we always make sure everybody lives in the district, but our McKinney-Vento students are always really first to come in, our students who are in kinship care, then we look at SNAP eligibility. And then we also, since it is a Head Start-based program, we have to have a certain percentage of students with disabilities that do not have to fall on those income guidelines, and so it is, diverse.
So what do we tell the parents and the students that aren't chosen?
So for those who don't have access to our program, we have many other state-funded programs. As an itinerant teacher, there's a lot of information for programs in our district that can, our early childhood partners that can also provide the wonderful programming that we provide. And so we do want to spread the love to our community and so make sure that children have access to high-quality
Do you
care.
advertise those partners?
So we provide resources to the families, and that is our main way of letting them know. We have our itinerant community that's already going out to our early childhood programs. We have a whole team of itinerant teachers, speech therapists, occupational therapists, or physical therapists, and so we have a relationship with the child cares within the community.
And our program, do parents pay a fee to go to those?
So our state-funded families are receiving a free seats. We have purchase of care families that it's either purchase of care or purchase of care plus. They may have a small fee. And then our students with disabilities are attending for free. And then we have peers that come and they pay tuition, but it's a very reduced tuition of $200 per month for our 3-year-olds and $400 per month for our 4-year-olds.
And then our partners that we would give the parents information on are all ones that we charge.
So some of them are also state-funded. Many of them have state-funded seats also. And so Head Starts are income-based. Kingswood Community Center is income-based. There's quite a few income-based providers within our district that families can look to. And we also provide information for purchase of care for our families too, so that if they are eligible, they can look at that as another funding stream to fund their child's education.
And you may not have the answer as being new to the job, but maybe somebody does. Do
Mhm.
you have an idea what the percentage of applicants are compared to the northern part of the district to the southern part of the district?
So that I'm not sure. Yeah, I could ask my good friend Dawn Alexander about that. She may know because she is now working in the Office of Early Learning, overseeing the state-funded programs.
Mr. Handy, do you have any questions? No. Mr. Crossy? No. Ms. Smith?
Nothing.
Thank you so much, I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, good job.
Okay,
Never. I love C.
Katrina, did you want to give another round of applause? This is all about class.
Standing ovation.
Standing ovation. Oh, look at that.
This was one of the parts of this position that I was most worried about, I must say,
did a great job.
You did spectacular. You did great. Next up, as you recall, in October, we asked the board's permission to post the waivers for class size and 98% of the unit count allocation. As we do every year in October, we posted it for 2 consecutive weeks in the News Journal and outside every building in the district. As of the deadline of November 1st at 4 p.m., we received no questions or comments from the public. So at this point, I would ask the board to consider the action on these waivers.
Do I hear a motion? Please be specific if you have one.
I move that we approve, waive the provisions of Title 14 of the Delaware Administrative Code 1704, 98% of unit and 1705A class size for the 2024-25 school year.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. All right. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All right, as moved by Ms. Smith, seconded by Mr. Crossan. Are there any questions or comments from the board? No questions or comments. All those in favor, please signify with saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Under the category of maintaining transparency and communication with the public around the referendum that passed in the spring, one of the next agenda item is a next phase of the capital work to occur here in the district. We're seeking the approval of the board for bond anticipation note approval. In front of the board are 3 anticipation resolutions to cover us for that purpose. At this time, I would ask of our Chief Operating Financial Officer, Ms. Falcon, if she could just kind of preview for the public and the board what they have in front of them and the motions that we're seeking.
Just testing to see if this one is working. It is, okay. So, all right, switch it. Perfect, thank you. So the reason that there are 3 resolutions is that we are trying to leverage a smooth timeline for the William Penn project in particular, because the athletic facilities, there's going to be a lot of timing considerations. We don't want to have any holdup from FY25 into FY26 in terms of funding availability to keep the project moving. So we are seeking approval of the funds available to us in FY25, and I am in talks with the Office of the State Treasurer to see what is involved in getting the FY26 funds available to us sooner. And how that is going to play out is not yet apparent, so I am seeking approval of all of the various contingencies that could occur, basically meaning the local share of the FY25 funds. There's one for the local share of FY26 funds, if they allow them to be applied for separately, and then if they want this action done as one approval or one request, I've combined the FY25 and FY26 amounts, and that would be submitted depending on the answer that I get from the Office of State Treasurer. So upon resolution of the question that I've asked them, I will pick whatever the resolution is that makes the most sense and submit that on behalf of the board so that we can get the funding for these projects moving. And I'm happy to take any questions.
Just make a comment, Ms. Falcon, we obviously thank you for thinking of all the possible scenarios that we might need to make sure things move as efficiently as possible, is what I think you were trying to sum up that you're doing for the public. So very much thank you for obviously handling this.
And I agree, and we appreciate your efforts on behalf of the community, who I know are, eagerly looking to see where their support for the referendum is going, and to start to see some groundbreaking.
Thank you. Yep. We definitely want to get these moving without delay, and this will give us the most flexibility to do that.
So we have, three separate motions, that we hope to hear for. If there are no other questions, do I hear a motion?
I move that we approve the bond anticipation note resolution FY '25 only as presented.
Second.
I hear a second too. All right, as moved by Mr. Crossan, seconded by Mr. Handy, or, I'm sorry, Mr. Laws. Are there any questions or comments from the board? If with none, all those in favor signify with saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. All right, first one's passed. Do I hear a motion on a second one?
Make a motion that we move to present, or to approve the bond anticipation note for resolution, or resolution fiscal year 26 as presented.
All right, do I hear a second?
Second.
As moved by Mr. Laws, seconded by Mr. Handy. Are there any questions or comments? All those in favor, please signify with saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it. All right, moving on to number 3. Do I hear a motion?
I move that we approve the bond anticipation note resolution 2526 combined as presented.
Second.
As moved by Dr. Keenan Dorsey and seconded by Ms. Smith. Are there any questions or comments from the board? All right, no questions or comments. All those in favor, please signify with aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, nay. Third motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The next two items are actually just in board docs for both the board as well as the public. The first item is just a reminder to the board that formerly our Curriculum and Instruction Division is now the Curriculum Assessment and Instruction Division. After much time and consideration this summer, we recognize the importance of assessment for student learning, and it felt that it needed to be brought forward in name, and so this is the name that was brought forward. I think it's September, and that change was made. You'll just see there's a flyer in there for your clarification of what a balanced assessment looks like in terms of curriculum assessment and instruction. The last item in the agenda is just the monthly update we've been sharing with the public and yourselves with respect to our strategic plan. There's 3 updates in here: Coaching for All, affinity groups, and year-long teacher residency. As you know, this is the last year of our strategic plan, and in the spring, Dr. Jones and the team will be providing an update with the next 5 years of the strategic plan. So after next month, I believe you'll have had summaries and updates on all the different work that's been going on. And then in the spring, we'll begin to talk about the path forward for all these projects and efforts. That concludes updates and action items.
All right, now is the time in the board meeting for board members and the executive secretary to discuss oh no, I'm sorry, I'm skipping ahead.
You're right.
No, I am. Oh, okay. Items and information and topics from our, participation in various professional organizations. Specific updates and documents are listed in the agenda. Are there any concerns, questions, or points of interest board members would like to discuss? Apologize.
Mr. Handy might have
Yes.
an update.
Start with the DSBA, Delaware School Board Association. Mr. Handy?
Real quick, we approved the legislative committee's priorities with a few language changes. The one thing that I want to bring to everybody's attention is we talked about the burden of proof. We're now trying to put the burden of proof in special ed cases, instead of being on the school district, that it has to be on the plaintiff's lawyer, instead of it always being on the burden of the school district. I actually spoke to somebody that was in agreement, provided that they have a mediator for the parent. I think a lot of times, in the past, it was always, the burden of proof was always relied on to school districts, which is costing a lot of money. So,
In time.
in town. Also, the annual NSBA conference will be in Atlanta, Georgia, April the 4th through the 6th, 2025. And the other thing is, we want to move the school and safety security to the operation budget.
And you'll find, Mr. Handy, that many of those legislative and budget priorities align with those of the chiefs. I provided an update in the board docs, the letter that we wrote to the Saran Cade, I believe it's the cabinet secretary for OMB, about what our budget priorities would be. And they align with this conversation, as well as the legislative point with respect to burden of proof.
Ron or Jeff, the idea of putting the burden of proof on the plaintiff or their attorney, is it safe to assume that the thinking there is to try to avoid what I'm gonna call frivolous litigation?
Yes. Frivolous and overreaching.
Unwarranted?
Yes, and, there have been examples where families have engaged with attorneys, and then they've just, learned that they're not getting what they thought they were going to get, and the attorney's fees are what's carrying the day, not necessarily what's in the best interest of the students. And so, like Mr. Haney stated, I think shifting the burden of the proof with also an assurance that the students and the families will get the support that they need, I think is the conversation that you're going to hear. I know that there's several chiefs that are involved in conversations with legislators and advocates around, making this a reality, because then, every year there's they publish the legal fees that the districts have, and then how much of the legal fees go to comp ed for families and how much go to the lawyers, and it's just getting, it's getting out of hand.
And I think I saw a little factoid buried in there that Delaware, this is not a national practice where the school district has the burden.
That's correct.
It's a very small percentage of states that require that the school district carry the burden.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Any other questions from board members?
The other thing I will say is I shared with the board the ASBJ newsletter last month for October. Hopefully we're going to start sharing with with you monthly, give you a chance to peruse it and see what's going on nationally, the conversation. It just good idea just to kind of keep touch base on. If at any point, I said the last meeting I was going to share it, if you get a chance to read it and you come to here with a question or a comment, it's a great time to kind of put it out there, and then it gives us an opportunity to see what the board is interested in, and us probably, generating more conversation around it. So hopefully you were able to get a look at that. I know that there's a lot of hyperlinks in those, and they go on and on and on and on, so you sometimes get to the story. So it's just gonna be something you have to be patient with as you kind of work through it, so.
I have a couple of things that I noticed. One is that there was an article on communities and schools and the great work that they seem to be doing in high schools. I know that organization is really a K-12, but particularly in high schools, the kind of data they're seeing where high schools with communities and schools programs are having a good impact on graduation rates.
Yeah.
And it's my understanding that there's a communities and schools chapter here at William Penn.
We have communities and schools here in Colonial. William Penn has, I believe, 4 folks in the Penn building, 1 and 3, and then just about every school in our district, I believe, has a communities and schools person in it. So we have up to 16, 17, maybe 18 or 19 communities and schools folks working with the district, pre-K, because there's one at Colwick, all the way up to N3 here. So yeah, we rely heavily on them for wraparound services and supports, from attendance to helping families figure out how to pay the bills, food pantries, clothing pantries, support support with other social service agencies. They work closely with our homeless coordinator as well as our attendance teams. You know, I was at the professional development on November 1st. I went to the elementary school counselor PD first thing on Friday morning, and just happened to be sitting there listening, and at least 3 of the folks were talking about something that the CIS person in them did for a family or for a student, and it was like they were just part of the school. So yeah, they started here in the early 90s as Burger King Academy, and they've been around for a while, but they have definitely had an impact of late, I feel like, for families in our staff. So we're fortunate to have them. I know other districts have them as well. Red Clay, Christina have a few, and Brandywine also uses them. So
That's really good to hear, because, I mean, I've been really pushing on a lot of districts and school people to, there's a lot of contractors that districts use. And one thing I've been pushing on everybody is make sure that you have the data to back up that they're actually doing a good job. Because they're taking a lot of money every year. Well, if they're giving services and services are good, that's great. But at the end of the day, there needs to be some data that we're tracking to see that it's actually making a change in our schools.
yeah, and again, Community Schools, we believe, is one of those providers for Colonial. So good catch. I mean, and you know, I've worked with them closely when I was principal here at William Penn. Began the effort to go from 2 to 6 and then district-wide. So we definitely believe that they bring a lot to the table. It was really nice to see them in the ASBJ newsletter.
Yeah, not that anybody cares, but I worked with them at McCain in the 90s
yeah,
as well when
yeah.
they first came to Delaware,
Yeah.
so I'm familiar with the organization.
Yeah.
And then the other one, I don't want to hog the time, but the other article, there was a really interesting article on artificial intelligence and how it's being used in schools nationally. And I thought it might be an interesting presentation here in Colonial at some point during the year. Maybe just a little presentation as to how AI may or may not be being used in our schools.
Yeah, I think that, I don't know, it'd be probably.
What do you think, Ladun? Think that would be interesting?
Yeah, I mean, I think AI is definitely being used in our school.
Okay.
So I think it'd be interesting. Yeah.
By the kids or the teachers?
Definitely the kids. Yeah, I heard kids say, "Oh, I use ChatGPT to make this essay," but like, thing is, it's kind of obvious whenever they use it. The teachers are like they know now. I heard like one teacher say on like the internet that like instead of checking their grades for like, you know, the quality of the essay, they start checking it for like if they're using AI or not. I think it's like a big thing, at least in high school. So I think it's really interesting to talk about, like, you know, presentation.
All right, great. I'll make a note of that and
Anybody else?
find somebody else who
Sound
finds
like a
that.
good idea?
Yeah, I mean, it's there. I mean, we might as well.
It's used daily, even if they don't realize it through
I mean-
Google or Facebook or
I mean,
any other.
You
social
type in a
media.
search now, it doesn't just tell you like where to go, it like tells you all kinds of
Everything.
stuff, everything about it. I mean, it's unbelievable. So, we'll see how it's being used and then how it's being used, if there's any teachers or curriculums that's using it. We have a few folks who would probably be pretty jazzed to come in here and kind of show off their
Oh, cool.
technology.
Okay.
Put money in the software, the apps that they're using now, or somehow integrating AI
Yeah.
into it.
Yeah, I think we would definitely be shocked. So that's a good one. Give me a little time to get something together, maybe January. 'Cause in December, we have math coming in. Chris will be back to talk math, maybe January.
Okay,
So, good
great.
call, Good call. All right.
Are you also, be able to speak on the CSOA as well?
I'm just commenting on it. Our priorities align with the,
Oh, okay.
yeah, I'm not gonna speak on it. My update is in the board docs. If you have any questions about that, you can ask. Otherwise, I think it's self-explanatory.
Big push for the girls wrestling,
Not
does
even-
DSU just announced?
No, yeah, DSU
D1?
has it D1, but it's women's wrestling and girls wrestling across the country is one of the most explosive sports
Yeah.
on record.
It's under discussion at the end.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool.
The gentleman in charge of the state girls wrestling committee, while they're not sanctioned by DIA, they're pushing to, they have 2 years, they have to get 2 years under their belt, and then, but they're starting to be conversations now.
Actually started last year.
Yeah,
Actually, the conversation started last year, so it's progressive. Let's put it that way.
and William Penn will be hosting a scrimmage, a round robin scrimmage, I believe on December 5th for statewide, I think, for girls wrestling. We don't have any invitationals, or we're not hosting any female-only wrestling tournaments, but I believe Delcastle, St. George's, and I think Smyrna will be hosting invitationals. I think there might be one other one I'm missing. But they will also be competing in other invitationals. The Beast of the East is gonna have probably one of the highest ranking, top performing wrestling tournaments of the country, is gonna have a girls bracket. It's gonna be the first ever, so it is, to Mr. Laws's point, it's coming fast and exciting, because it's got a lot of interest. So that was a really interesting update.
Any DIA updates, since we're discussing what different committees we're part of?
There were some legislative changes in the makeup of the DIAA board that has passed, but the appointments haven't happened yet. We're waiting for those to happen at any time. Other than that, the various fall tournaments and whatnot have been going on. Of course, the football selections came out over the weekend. Volleyball is ending up, and same thing with hockey. Well, hockey is actually over with, I think, now. And soccer, I think, moving through, so the fall tournaments start. One thing that a lot of schools need to be aware of is there've been a lot of changes here in the last couple of months in regards to waivers, how they go through, what the qualifications are for them right now. So I would like to say they're a little bit more strict in some aspects and a little bit more lenient in others, but they've kind of streamlined that process to where it doesn't have to come totally in front of the entire board all the time now. The executive director has a little bit more of approval to be able to go and do some of those waivers. But yeah, the board size is going down from 19 to, don't quote me on the number, I think it's 15, something like that. There's representatives from DSU and University of Delaware will be part of it, as well as some other changes there. The school boards from each county will not be part of the committee now, but there may be some school board members that get invited to be on the committee. They have to be either appointed by the governor or some of the legislative leads that will have the recommendations for appointments, and they have to be approved by the Senate.
How are we handling, is Colonial prepared with our athletic director and communicated with the students in regards to NIL?
So that's a whole different scenario.
I know, I just, with the
We
Milford
don't have any of those, we've not had any of those situations or students that are in that category right now. When we regularly check the regulation updates, and DIA had a host of updates that were proposed last month, and it's gonna take a while for them to be enacted. And they also had some that were enacted last month. I sat with Matt Sable, one of those was about NIL. Colonial is in a spot where we don't have any concerns about NIL right now with any of our athletes, but just have to be mindful of it. He's well aware of much of the activity. He's also very aware of the waiver process that Mr. Laws just referenced. So Matt is definitely at the table for many of the AD, the athletic director meetings for Blue Hen Conference, as well as for state AD meetings.
And Matt and I have spoken a couple different times on some of the items there, and I will go on record here saying too that our executive director that we have there at DIAA now, Dave Baylor, is doing an excellent job.
Good.
He's really grabbing a hold of that group. There's been some additions to his staff, which was part of the regulations that were passed. He got some funding for some of that, which is very helpful to him. But I've known Dave for quite a few years. He was a good hire for that job. He's very organized, and he's not taking any grief from anybody. Let's put it that way, either from the schools or from other people who try to give him any grief. So, but Dave's a good man, and I think he'll do an excellent job for that organization.
That's all.
Great. Can we reference DIA on here for next month as well, so while he's representing on there? That'd be a nice,
If
if
you
we
want.
have him, yeah, it'd be
Yeah,
nice
if you
just
want
to
to put
listen.
DIA on.
Are you okay?
There's no meeting this month, so
Yeah.
I won't have a report for next month.
So puts us for anything in the future?
I mean, you can just bring it up whenever, I'll reference it as a line item, he doesn't necessarily need a
Right.
spot that we know is gonna be a monthly update, but we can just put him up top here, that as needed, you know, Mr. Lawson provided the.
11 of the other months of the year, he's always got something to update when it comes to that group, so.
Well, we won't have, he won't be able to talk about some of the waiver stuff that he
Yeah, you
spends
can't talk about that
99% of
because
his
it's just like
time
stuff.
Right.
immersed in. But, when there's meetings that are talking about the regulation changes and the procedural changes, I think it's always helpful to get those updates. I'll make
Yeah,
sure
I
I
mean,
make a note.
with the school board position leaving, once they make those appointments, I could, you know, my position on there would be vacated. But I have expressed interest in trying to be reappointed to the board in the new formula, in the new form, so we'll see how that happens.
When does that happen? Just when the new administration comes in?
It could happen anytime. I mean, Governor Carney could call back a legislative session to get through some of those appointments, or it could wait until the next administration comes in.
Yeah, it's happening, it's just a question of when.
Yes. Yeah, we're actually surprised that it hasn't happened yet.
All right, no other updates, so legislative has no updates, no meeting, so we're good to go there. And then,
I have one question.
Yes, sir?
Did we not have Ms. Wilson still here, or she stepped out?
She stepped in. No, I don't think she's here.
Yeah, wasn't there a newspaper article today or something about Wilbur School?
Oh, it was online.
It was on our Facebook.
Our Facebook page.
Yeah.
And they got quoted in the education, tiny little blurb in the education
Right,
section.
I think it was a recognition of some achievement, right?
The assistant principal is right there.
Speak up.
They were recognized for excellence in working with special populations.
Yep.
Recipients of an $8,000 grant to go towards work with those the students that they cite in
What organization?
DOE.
Oh.
DOE.
yeah, Okay, local.
DDOE.
One of how many schools in the state?
15.
15?
Excellent.
Congratulations. I need something other than obituaries, which I could.
It must have been just below the obituaries. We know that that's the only thing.
Check every day, make sure I'm not in there.
very good, congratulations and thank you. All right, so, to close out with everything, I just wanna state that, take a moment and to say, I hope that everyone took a moment yesterday, to thank all the veterans, for their service to this country. I'd like to end the meeting by expressing my gratitude, as well as particularly to those who now work for the Colonial School District, and of course to those who serve voluntarily on this school board. Thank you for all the sacrifices you have made to serve this country. And as the Thanksgiving break approaches, I'd also like to say on behalf of the Board of Education that we're thankful to be here representing the interests of the Colonial School District. We're thankful for our students, our staff, and families, the pillars that make up the E in we. The power of we is more than just a saying. We're thankful this mantra reminds us that everyone at this table and in the Colonial Nation strives to make this district the best it can be. So I wish you all a happy Thanksgiving, and we appreciate you. That being said, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All right, as moved by Mr. Laws, seconded by Dr. Dorsey. With no questions or comments from the board, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those against, nay.
Nay.
Motion carries. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you and have a happy holiday.